Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and then so we can get this going. And our other liaisons are in the chat, so if you have any questions or anything while we're doing it, just go ahead and throw it in the chat, and they can help you in there. So tonight we're just going to be going over the customization for your pages and how you can do those customizations and just some and uploading pictures and things like that. So customizing your page. So customizing your page is a super great thing you can do within your dashboard. Some perks of doing this is your page is the easiest way to connect with your local community about how they can help further the mission to remember, honor, and teach. Some positives about customizing your own page is you can highlight upcoming fundraising events or details about your wreath laying ceremony on your page. You can spotlight your local veterans and how they've made an impact on your community. And you can also show your community what you've been doing locally to give back and make a positive impact. So the first thing we're going to talk about is your Wreath Meter and how that can help your supporters know how close your group and location are to meeting your goal. So the purpose of your sponsorship goal is so that your local community knows how close you are to being fully covered or to meeting your goal for your location or group. Remember, your sponsorship goal is different than your veteran grave count if you are a location. So just keep that in mind if you do update it, that will not update your veteran grave count. And also just keep in mind if you are a location that updating your wreath count does not determine how many wreaths are shipped to your location for placement. That is determined by your veteran grave count. So how you can update as well how you can update your Wreath Meter is in your dashboard. If you go to what's called the registration to dos, and if you go into there and click on whatever goal you want to update, whether it's for your location or group, you're going to click on what page you want to update. And once you get into that, you're going to get into your registration to dos. And from right there for your locations, you're going to enter your Wreath Meter right there. Or for your group, you're going to enter, it's going to say update your wreath goal. So that's where you can update your goals and enter whatever number you wish to enter there. Sorry, my computer's being weird. Okay. So the next thing you can do is you can customize your location and group pages. So this is how you can customize. So to get started, you're going to go to the customization to dos in your dashboard, and then you're just going to simply click on the section that you want to edit. So the first thing you're going to see is the overview page and subtitle for your page. So this is where you can update the banner photo, title, and subtitle for your page. You want to make sure you pay extra close attention for any wildcards. Those are the words you'll see inside the brackets. The wildcards will automatically pull in information from the system to put on your page, so make sure you don't touch those. If you change the wildcards, your page won't format correctly, so just remember not to change them. And please note, you want to keep the wording in the banner to a minimum, and that space is not meant for long paragraphs, but rather a few short sentences to catch someone's eye. Anything longer than that is best suited to go in your location summary section. The ceremony information that you also see in here will be updated according to the ceremony information entered by the location coordinator. So if you are a sponsorship group, that information is pulled in from the cemetery. This information should remain short and highlight the page, such as the ceremony date, time to arrive, and any important information. This will be the first thing someone sees when they go to the page, and too much text in this section can cause an overlap on that page. And another thing you can update on this main page is the logo. The logo is where you will upload a logo for your location or group. This is a great way to show your community who you are affiliated with. You will select the logo you wish to upload from your image library. When you upload images, just note that the images may or may not appear immediately. If that happens, you'll just need to reprocess the image, and we'll go into that a little bit later about how to do those steps. And we will talk about that later for those, like I said, for those tips of how to fix broken images. So the next thing you can do is that location summary text. It's super easy to edit the page. This is how you can quickly grab the attention of your page visitors and get supporters excited by having custom text that gets them excited to support your group and location. So this is also where you can put more detailed information regarding the cemetery and the ceremony. It's also nice to know any specific information regarding the ceremony. You can put the history of your cemetery or group, why you are personally involved with Wreaths Across America, or any other important details about the event, or any fun facts about your group. And as you can see here, they have added location-specific contact information, as well as provided a link to their Facebook page so that people can connect that way as well, to put in your own social media links in the pages too. So the next thing you can do is the cards. So how can you promote your page through the cards? So this is where you can upload a photo and text to show on the card for your page. So these cards show up on the group sites that support your location or on the location pages that your group supports. The information here should also be short and informative and invite them to view your page for more information about your group and location. Customized cards are more likely to be clicked on than those that are not. So please note, but also please note that if you're a group that supports multiple locations, it is very important that you edit your card summary text to indicate that, because by default, the group card will only show your main location. So the 3 sections below will only be seen by location coordinators. These to-dos are how you edit the information under the ceremony detail section for your location page. So the ceremony and volunteer information tab. So this is where you can put specific information regarding your ceremony. It's especially helpful to indicate any details about the ceremony and wreathing that you want volunteers to be aware of. If you need them to arrive at the cemetery at a certain time, or if you have parking restrictions or public transportation that they should be aware of, or if there are any specific details that would help them with planning, this is the perfect place to add that information. But just remember, your volunteers are there to help you. So the more information you can give them, the more smoothly your event will go. You also have here the directions to ceremony tab. This is where you can put directions to the cemetery. It is especially nice to add this if the cemetery is off the beaten path and it's hard to locate on the GPS. This will make it easier to navigate volunteers to the event. The last thing you're going to see on here is the parking instructions tab. So this is where you will add any specific information regarding the parking arrangements for your event. If you're having volunteers park at a local firehouse due to limited parking at the cemetery and having a shuttle bring them over, this is where you would indicate that. Or if they need to park in a certain area of the cemetery, you would give them those details in this section. So now how do you upload pictures and how can you use those pictures to customize your page? So to upload pictures, you'll start by going to the libraries tab at the top of your dashboard, and that will open up a drop-down box where you will then click on images. When that page opens up, you're going to click on the black plus sign on the lower right-hand corner, and then you're going to click on where it says select file in the gray area and add whatever picture you would like. You cannot add more than one photo at a time. So go ahead and individually upload each photo that you'd like to on your location or group website. After you upload a picture, if you can't see it, just hover over that picture. You're going to see 3 dots. Click on those 3 dots and then click reprocess image. It can take a few seconds to load and reprocess. And as always, if you have any questions or if that doesn't seem to be working for you, just reach out to your liaison and they can help you with that customization piece. So now photo albums. You can also make photo albums, and you can do this by clicking on the manage and photo, going on your page, going to manage and then going to photo albums. Or you can also click on the photo albums module in your dashboard. When that page opens up, you're going to click on the black plus sign again in the lower right-hand corner. You're going to name your album, whatever you're choosing to name it, whether that be 2021 ceremony, and you can add pictures from your ceremony from last year, or whatever you're wanting to name it, and put a description if you would like, and then click save. Once you click save, you're going to click on add new photos. It actually says plus with a plus button in the new photos, and then select which photos you would like to add to that album. You will also again add each photo one at a time, naming the photos as you go. Once all of your photos are saved to your album, go ahead and click save. So any pictures of your community working together to further the mission to remember, honor, teach are really good things, are really good kind of albums to make. So some examples, you can do fundraising events, and that's a great way to show your volunteers in action. You can do an album for your wreath laying ceremony. That's really what it's all about. You can use these photos to improve your, to inspire your community to stay involved all year round. You can do an album. Another example is for wreath cleanup. So you can show your community how you care about hearing, and how you care about keeping your cemetery clean, and how you work together to dispose of those wreaths. Or also you can make an album for grave specific wreaths if you want people to be able to come and view the picture of that, grave, of that wreath on that specific grave. So page alerts, another thing we have on our on the new thing that we just added a couple years ago that some people don't know about is page alerts. So page alert is a message that immediately pops up in a box when someone visits your page. So some great things that a page alert can be used for is you can share about upcoming fundraising events or important notes about the wreath laying ceremony. You can invite volunteers to help clean up wreaths on the designated date for your cemetery. You can also use it to encourage donors to help meet your goal. So to get into this, how you're going to do it is from your dashboard. You're going to go up to that black bar at the top, go up to where it says manage, and then go down to page alerts. Once that new box opens up, there's going to be some different sections. Step one, you're going to create a title for your page. So example, fundraising event, ceremony details, wreath cleanup, etc. This is meant for a small, just catch your eye, quick couple words. The next thing you're going to see is you're going to add details in the text section that are concise, but that clearly get your point across to inspire your supporters to help out. So for example, putting just something like wreath cleanup at the local cemetery at 2 p.m. on December 26th, something that gets quick and to the point that just catches people's eye. The next thing you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to set the date and time for your page alert to show. And also you're going to be able to set the date and time that you want that page alert to be taken down. So you don't have to remember to go in to remove that page alert. You can just make sure it is automatically removed on whatever date and time you wish. And that's all I got for you. So I'm going to open it up. I told you short and sweet, very short and sweet. So if you have any questions or anything, now's the time to speak up and we can help. Or if there's anything in the chat that I can help answer.
Well, number one, Rachel, we'd like to wish you the very best in your new endeavors. We're going to miss you.
Thank you, Jim.
Rachel, I think that somebody asked about what's the best size photo to use for uploading?
So there isn't really a specific guideline for what, like there isn't like any set thing that works best. I always recommend anything over 1100 megapixels seem to upload the best, and in landscape mode or landscape version. But if you have anything that's in portrait or doesn't look like it's uploading right, email your liaison and we can fidget with the image and put it into the Canva we have, which is like an editing photo software online that we can make it look pretty on your page. So if you have any issues getting it to upload, just reach out to your liaison as well and they can help with that.
Rachel, excuse me. Hi,
Yeah.
I have a question about member pages within a group.
Yeah.
Utilization for that. A lot of that seems to be default. Any insights, please?
It's this, yeah, it's all the, I mean, it's the same steps as it is for this as far as customizing it. Everything is, I mean, everything is defaulted already, you know, the same as all the pages, but everything is, as far as customizing the page, is the same as for what I just went over.
Okay, if I have a group that's been having problems, I tried to help them, it didn't work. Who should I refer that
Their
to?
liaison.
Okay, thank you.
I just saw Diana ask in the chat if you can add video. There is a video option to add videos and photo albums, but it doesn't really work very well. And you're only able to add it with a link via YouTube. So you can only add videos that are on YouTube with the link. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It can be hit or miss. But if you have any issues getting it uploaded, usually our liaisons can pull a little, magic and get it to work for you. We'll try our best, at least, I should say.
I was going to say too, if anybody hasn't uploaded a personal photo for their cemetery, it's actually a very good way so that people will see your own cemetery, the pictures. We have a bunch of them we have one where an individual is placing a grave at his brother's grave and they just left his grandson's grave. So it's a nice way to connect locally without just having these stock photos from Wreaths Across America. Nothing wrong with those, but it really puts a fine touch on it to bring it back home to everybody.
Absolutely.
If you haven't done that already.
Definitely makes it more personal.
Yes.
Yes.
The thank you letters. I know on the other program, we could send out thank you letters. But can we add our own thank you per se, a personal thank you?
So you can send individual thank you messages to your donors through research orders. You can't customize the images that are in the thank you letter, but you can change the text to whatever you want.
Okay, similar to what it was then before.
Yeah, our system hasn't changed. This is the same system as last year. So anything you used last year, this is the same exact system.
Okay, because I sent out my own personal ones last year. I didn't like your setup.
Well, it's
Thank
the
you.
same one, yeah. Anybody else?
I'm not sure if you're going to know the answer to this question.
I can try.
Does the website, as it had done in the past, will it take a photograph and reduce the image pixelation of that photograph?
Okay, say it again. Repeat it.
So for example, everybody here takes a photo with their cell phone or a camera, and it's approximately 5 megabyte pixel to 11 megabyte pixel. The software used to actually go through a converter and take a large photograph like that and reduce it for specifically the web.
I don't think our website does that, does it, Megan? I don't think so.
It
That's
had.
a good question. I don't
don't
know the
think-
answer to. I would imagine it probably does, just because I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say.
Okay.
I don't know the right answer for that, and I don't want to tell you the wrong answer.
How about if I try it out and I will let you know.
Sounds
Deal.
good.
Will you please let me know too, Harry, because I have pictures in there that I have taken and they're too big
Of-
and they need to be reduced down. So that's the reason I ask about the pixels. How many pixels should you start out with?
So
Period.
Of course.
Diana, Rachel might even be able to talk a little bit more about Canva and how that's also a really great tool for adjusting that image size so that it fits nicely on your
I
page.
know that the system isn't going to automatically like adjust the image down. Like it's not going to make it fit better in the slot, in your page than it already does. It's going to just fill it up. And if it looks too big, you can't adjust it like on Facebook. You can't like adjust how that image shows in there. So I do use Canva a lot. It's a totally free. It's just a website. It's just canva.com. You don't have to download anything to your
And
thing.
what is it again?
It's called Canva. It's like a photo editing. It's not even photo editing. It's like you can make graphics and stuff like that on it.
Can you put the link on there somewhere?
Somebody can. Yes.
Canva. Okay.
Yes.
Canva.com.
Yes. And in there, you can do like for specific like posts on different pages, you can have like a template.
And
So I
it's
use
free.
it- Yep.
Mhm.
You can
Yep.
make a free account. So I use it. There's a template on there that's specifically made for Facebook cover photos that template actually is perfect size for our background image on the Reach Across America pages.
Okay.
And I know we do have a little informational slide that if you want it, your liaison can email it to you. I just have to make it look prettier because it's meant for internal use only, so I can make it look prettier. But we can make it look prettier, and if you want to just send an email to your liaison, or we can email it out in our follow-up email. We'll email that out. as
Any
well.
help we could get, it would be nice.
Yes, we can get
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank
I will
you.
add that to my list of things to do before I leave.
So I noticed somebody else had asked about, we kind of touched on sending those thank you notes. But I think people are looking for a little bit more clarification on that. So the easiest way to do that is through the research orders report. When you log into your dashboard, you'll go into manage and then click on research orders, and then you can filter that report by really anything. You could search by the donor name, the donor email. You could search by the wreath year. You don't even have to filter it. You can just see all of them. And then all you do is when you see that order show up on a line, there's 3 dots on the top right-hand corner of each order. You're going to click on those 3 dots, and a little box will pop up that says send thank you note. You'll click on that, and then you can customize the thank you however you'd like, and click send, and you're good to go.
And one thing too, with those thank you, we actually sent out in our follow-up from last month's webinar, we attached a how-to document of how to use your dashboard that has a slide in there, a page dedicated only to how to send thank you. So go back and check your email and find that follow-up webinar email from July, and that has a good instructional manual per se of how to use the dashboard.
But your regional
just like
liaison
to-
is always happy to help too. So if
Yeah.
you need extra help, just holler. We're always here and happy to help.
I just like to add my own personal picture of our own cemetery. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Or somebody, you know, that is
Yeah,
actually
I-
laying.
Yeah, at this time, we can't add personalized images into the individual thank yous.
Okay.
You can send out, if you send out like one mass thank you through the messaging system, you are able to attach images in there. Again, reach out to your liaison. She can give you the exact instructions. I can't remember off the top of my head. There's a certain wild card you have to add an image. But you are able to add images if you send it out through the messaging module, just not through the individual thank yous in the research order section.
Hi, this is Kristen Hoover. This is my first year doing it, so it's all a little overwhelming sometimes. And we had a couple of orders already come in, and there was like an in memoriam and an in honor of request. Is there a way to have that show up on our website, or does it automatically tie to that in any way? Or is there any way, like how would we kind of highlight that if we wanted to?
So anybody who does an honor or remember of, if they clicked on when they ordered add this to the remember wall, it'll show on the remember wall on your page. It'll show their message and whatever they typed. If they didn't ask for it to be posted on the remember wall, do you know where those go, Megan?
I don't think that you have the ability to pull a report of the in
They
honor and
don't.
memory of
No.
orders through your location, because those are different than grave specific. They're not the same thing. It's a general wreath sponsorship. And so we have those sit in our internal database, but because of our privacy policy and everything, those are not released
Right. It would have to be
in honor and memories. However, like Rachel said, you'll see them on the remember wall for the location if they selected that option, or for the grave specifics, if they selected the grave specific option, you can pull a grave specific report as the location coordinator. And the instructions for pulling that report are in that dashboard tutorial that Rachel was talking about. If you can't find that in your email, then just reach out to your regional liaison and they can send it to you again.
Okay, sure. If they didn't order it online and they ordered it, like if we sent in a paper form for them, is there a way on that paper form to indicate they want it in the, to show up on the website?
Yeah,
Yeah, those, the online and the mail-in are the same.
yeah, and there's an option on the re-sponsorship form. There is a box for an honor or in memory of,
Mhm.
for them to put a name in there. And then when
Yeah.
finance enters it, they'll add that to the order when they enter it.
Right, so I'm asking if there's a way for them to indicate they want that to show up on the website, because you said if they indicated on an online order, it automatically populates on the site, on the remember wall. Does it automatically populate, or do you guys input it to show up on the remember wall if it's a paper order?
Good question. I'll have to check with finance because I don't know. I don't want to give you the wrong answer, so I have to talk with finance to see exactly how they enter it. So I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, because with
Okay.
paper orders, there's not a way for them to submit a photo or like a special message like they can when they order online. And typically that's what goes on that remember wall. So we'll double check to see. We'll double check with finance to get a clear answer on that. But from my understanding, the only way that it would go on the remember wall is if they fill out the form with the special message that they'd like, and they upload a photo that would go on that page.
Got
I
it.
have
Thank you.
two questions. One, last year we got these real nice wreaths that we could write on, and everybody that had it in memory or in honor of, we made sure we put it on a bulletin board and took it to the cemetery so they could see it, which made them very happy. But I also have to ask a question. I had a very not nice email from someone. He actually ordered a wreath for his father, had it sent to that cemetery. Okay, he went to the cemetery and there wasn't enough wreaths for his father to have one, to put one on his father's grave. And he kind of thought it was my fault. And I need to know what to do because most likely I'm hoping he will order another one from us this year. But what can I tell him? Because he was very angry at me because I didn't have a wreath there for him.
Yeah,
And it
so
wasn't our cemetery.
that's a really great.
I'll say I think Harry would be great to answer that one because I'm sure he has plenty of those at his cemetery who get upset.
Thank you, Rachel. Actually, Mary Lou, I've had the same experience year after year. I have had people, let's say, for example, our ceremony is going to be on December 18th. I've had people come to me on December 18th and say, I ordered a grave specific wreath. I'm here to pick up my wreath. I said, I don't have your name. I don't have any information. I said, when did you order this? She goes, just last night. Well, you are laughing, but that's one of the situations that does arise. The other thing.
No, I totally understand. It's so funny because I've had that one also.
I was going to say the biggest problem that I've seen and the biggest problem that we've had is the fact that people are not ordering the right wreaths for them. For example, if they want to place a wreath onto a specific grave, they would be ordering a grave specific wreath, which is different than just saying, hey, I purchased the wreath, and sometimes they'll click on the wrong option. They say, I ordered it in memory of my dad. He's buried there. Why isn't it on his grave? And the real answer is, well, you didn't order a grave specific wreath that we would have placed on your grave. Now, you may or may not do grave specific wreaths, but it's one of those things where some people are looking for those wreaths to say, this is what I ordered. I came here to place the wreath onto the grave, or I expected one of the volunteers to place the wreath on the grave. So what I would say to that person, I would double check and just make sure exactly what they're ordering. So if you do, and does your location provide grave specific wreaths?
If I tell you, I am not sure. We
Okay.
have been at a tiny little cemetery that has just been my DAR chapter, and I've got my military support club to help us.
Sure.
Thank goodness this year we're going to Alta Vista, so I don't have to do this do everything by myself, even though I am not a location person. This is our location. Most of my wreaths are sold to military, to the people that are in the military in my neighborhood. We usually sell over 200 wreaths, and most of them are, but I guess I didn't know it had to be grave specific. Can I do that? Because these people don't order online. They want to do it on paper. So can we do it on paper? Because I will make sure and go to this person, because he plays golf in my husband's golf group. So
Sure.
I hear about it quite a bit. And I would like to make sure his father, that was a World War II veteran and a World War I veteran, gets this, because he's in his 80s and was pretty, and he's retired military. So he wasn't real happy with this the last 2 years.
Sure. And correct me if I'm wrong, Rachel. Yes, I believe you have the ability to actually place, go into the system and say that a grave specific wreath will be placed out there for them. And the other thing too, realize that you do have volunteers that are simply going to purchase a wreath, or maybe they're going to donate 5 wreaths. And I've seen this as well show up, where they show up on the day and they say, I'm here for my wreaths. And I say, well, who are you? And I said, well, I'm here. I ordered 5 wreaths and I wanted them to go out for, every Tom, Dick, and Harry and Joe and Paul. Okay, well, there's boxes out there. And I said, well, we just want to take them and we want to put them out there on, we want to put them out there for, for my family members that are, maybe we're doing a particular section. And they say, well, I want to go all the way to the other side of the cemetery and put it out there. How it's hard to say no to them. But in the same time, we do actually promote for next year. And we will say, if you want to, you could also purchase one right now when we have a QR code out there, and they could scan it and then purchase one, which would go towards next year. So we kind of start at the cemetery as well.
So Mary Lou, another thing I might just pop in there and say is, in the case that you've got those grave specific orders on paper, but they didn't place their order online, I would just recommend you contact the location coordinator for the cemetery and make the special arrangements with them. If you give them your list of grave specifics and the names of those veterans that should receive a grave specific wreath, then I'm sure you would be able to figure something out with them where they would set those aside for those donors to pick up and go place. The biggest thing is just communication with the location coordinator and making sure that you're all on the same page. And yeah, that's the easiest fix.
Excuse me, Mary Lou, if you'll reach out to me, this is Trish. Alta Vista does not take grave specifics, but I will definitely make sure that your list gets done, okay?
It's only been one person. It's the same person for the last 2 or 3 years. And
okay, I'll give you a call in the morning.
This to him, and I'm just not successful. That's what my problem.
Sure, no, I totally understand. I'll give you a call in the morning. I'll get his name and I'll get that to Kimberly for you, okay?
Okay, except for I may not remember his name.
All right,
but
we'll figure it out.
I got the email. I will look it up. Maybe if you could do it like in the afternoon instead of in the morning.
Sure, not a problem. Or reach out to me, ma'am. If you have my email.
To you because I've got your email.
Yes, ma'am.
I can reach out to you.
Awesomeness. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye.
And someone also just asked in chat, what's the difference between a wreath and a grave specific? So the difference is a regular wreath sponsorship is just a wreath that somebody just placed for, not for any specific veteran. They just placed a wreath to be placed on any veteran at that cemetery. A grave specific wreath is somebody placed that wreath to be placed on a specific grave. So for example, Sue placed a grave specific wreath online because she wants that wreath to be placed on her dad Bob's grave. So she's going to place it as a grave specific wreath because she only wants that wreath to be placed on Bob's grave, nobody else's. But say if Sally went and sponsored just a plain old wreath sponsorship, that wreath can go on whatever grave that location coordinator or volunteer places it on. She does not care who it is as long as a veteran is honored.
Rachel, this is Michelle from Baltimore. We do grave specifics, but we've run into the problem with when people order either in honor or in memory, thinking that it is grave specific. So that actually has caused some issues too. So that's another thing that people have to really keep in mind.
And that's, and that's when, and we could say it to her blue in the face. We have a big red blurb that said this is not grade specific, and it just comes down to the people. Sometimes I think, it's a very emotional thing to sponsor a wreath like that most of the time. So I think just sometimes they don't pay the closest attention to what they're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And one thing too, is if you get anybody who's like really upset, have them reach out to us at headquarters, because we're always can do whatever we can to make it right, whether it is we're, giving them a refund if that's what they want, or we can also credit a wreath to next year for your location to make sure they have, to that next year, to make sure they have a wreath to place on their grave that following year. So if somebody's really upset, have them reach out to us.
Something else that a lot of my location coordinators in my region have found successful is they'll set aside a percentage of their general veteran wreaths and have those kind of as like a little buffer. So that way, if you do have someone show up that thought they ordered a grave specific wreath, but in fact they did not, you have that wreath set aside for them and you can say, hey, no worries. I got your back. Let me get you a wreath that you can go place for your father, because really that's what we're here for. And, it is a very emotional thing. And we want to be able to allow whoever has a loved one buried there to lay a wreath for them. And so if maybe Harry, you might have a better idea of percentage wise, what's a good buffer on that. I feel like typically people, it's around 10%, but it might vary depending on location and how many veterans that you have interred at your cemetery. But you always want to err on the side of helping them out. Yeah. We want this to be special for everybody that's there. And so if you, take that extra step and set a few extras aside, it will really go a long ways with everybody.
We work with our funeral homes to find out how many have passed from one December to another. We invite them to come to the ceremony, but more importantly, we're a payback group. So we have some extra wreaths, but more importantly, like you said, it is emotional. These are people that are grieving, even though headquarters is great about making the adjustment. As Mary Lou said, it's emotional. They're looking for somebody. So, I always carry $15 cash with me to offer to give it to them or to give them a wreath, but more importantly, to use those 7 ceremonial wreaths that they're placed on a veteran's wreath. And they're just like, wow, to be able to have that, because they're there for a reason, to honor their loved ones. So that's our suggestion. Have a buffer, like you said. See what they want. Like you said, if you can reach out ahead of time, Mary Lou, to make sure that they have it, it's important.
Yeah, just to follow up with what Megan said, we do have a buffer. We have approximately 300 grave specific requests. And what we do is we probably hold back about maybe 4 or 5 boxes, approximately 10%, about 36 wreaths or so. And what'll happen is, God forbid, if somebody's coming there looking for something, we have something there. It's very rare when we've been unable to give somebody a wreath, and those, if we have them there, those are the last boxes that we put out for people.
And also, just to clarify, because I know we have group leaders and location coordinators on this webinar, the grave specific requests are handled by the location coordinator. They are the ones that disperse the wreaths to all of the volunteers that are there to help lay wreaths. And so if you're a group leader and you know that you've got grave specific requests for donors that you've received checks from or mailed in or whatever, just make sure that you pass that information along to your location coordinator and make arrangements with them so that we can honor those requests.